best way to learn math for people who might be at the beginning of that journey? I think that's a question that a lot of folks kind of ask and think about. And it doesn't, even for folks who are not really at the beginning of their journey, like there might be actually is deep in their career of some type. They've taken college or taken calculus and so on, but still want to sort of explore math. What would be your advice in sort of education at all ages?
Your temptation will be to spend more time like watching lectures or reading. Try to force yourself to do more problems than you naturally would. That's a big one. Like the focus time that you're spending should be on like solving specific problems, and seek entities that have well-curated lists of problems.
So go into like a textbook almost, and the problems in the back of a textbook kind of thing, back of a chapter.
So if you can, take a little look through those questions at the end of the chapter before you read the chapter. A lot of them won't make sense. Some of them might, and those are the best ones to think about. A lot of them won't, but just, take a quick look and then read a little bit of the chapter and then maybe take a look again and things like that. And don't consider yourself done with the chapter until you've actually worked through a couple exercises, right? And this is so hypocritical, right? Because I put out videos that pretty much never have associated exercises. I just view myself as a different part of the ecosystem, which that means I'm kind of admitting that you're not really learning, or at least this is only a partial part of the learning process if you're watching these videos. I think if someone's at the very beginning, I do think Khan Academy does a good job. They have a pretty large set of questions you can work through.
Just the very basics, sort of just picking up, getting comfortable with the very basics, linear algebra, calculus, or so on. Khan Academy.
Programming is actually, I think, a great, learn to program and let the way that math is motivated from that angle push you through. I know a lot of people who didn't like math, got into programming in some way, and that's what turned them on to math. Maybe I'm biased because I live in the Bay Area, so I'm more likely to run into someone who has that phenotype, but I am willing to speculate that is a more generalizable path.
So you yourself, kind of in creating the videos, are using programming to illuminate a concept, but for yourself as well. So would you recommend somebody try to make a sort of almost try to make videos? You do as a way to learn?
So one thing I've heard before, I don't know if this is based on any actual study. This might be a total fictional anecdote of numbers, but it rings in the mind as being true. You remember about 10% of what you read. You remember about 20% of what you listen to. You remember about 70% of what you actively interact with in some way. And then about 90% of what you teach. This is a thing I heard. Again, those numbers might be meaningless, but they ring true, don't they? Right? I'm willing to say I learn 9 times better if I'm teaching something than reading. That might even be a low ball, right? So doing something to teach or to actively try to explain things is huge for consolidating the knowledge.